All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so we are live. We are live. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back once again to Kixkeya Global Village. And so tonight we have yet another amazing show, amazing program coming your way. And so tonight I'm gonna be sharing with you guys my experience and traveling in the continent of Africa. And so, as you can see, the title traveled 5 countries within 10 months of being on the continent of Africa, what some may call the Garden of Eden. Some people may call it the land of Akibalon. And so, there are different terminologies that many, okay, I hope that I have sound coming through. Let me just Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, great. So we have good sound coming in. All right. All right, perfect. So yeah, once again, we are here on the continent, and so as you can see the title of this video, as it says, my life will never be the same. Since I would say I ended or touched down on the continent, I would say that my life will never be the same, definitely. And so right now, it's about 2 a.m. here in Kenya. I'm in the beautiful east side of Africa. And so it's about 2 a.m. right here on this side. And so those of you who may be watching this, most likely right now on the east side of, I mean, rather on the west side, um, in America and maybe some parts of Europe and so on and so forth. Okay, so once again, guys, Kixkeya Village. We have been traveling on the continent. I started on the west side of Africa. And so here we are right now on the east. And so, yeah, I mean, it has always been my dream to travel to different countries. Yet, even most assuredly, it has always been my dream to travel to the continent of Africa. And so I would say that I have been privileged to be in a position that my dream became a reality. And so I would give thanks to God. I would give thanks to the Creator. I would give thanks to the Most High, even for this so great a privilege, to be able not only to travel on to the continent, but being able to, out out of, I guess you can say 54 countries, I've been to 5 of them. And so to some that may be very small, but to me that's great. And the circumstances by which even I'm I'm able to travel is even greater. And the purpose and the acquisition, if you would, being able to travel. And so it's definitely a great privilege. And so I would say that, I mean, 10 months being on the continent, before when I first came in, I would say the first 3 months, definitely it was a lot of excitement coming in, seeing the cultures, the different languages, communicating with people. It was definitely a lot of excitement. But then I would say right about now, being 10 months in, I would say now I'm really soaking in the energy. Like I'm really just tapping into a different level of consciousness. And I think now I'm able to even do some more live streams because I would say before, yes, I would do a lot of experiences, take a lot of videos, do a lot of recordings, and do a lot of uploads. And so throughout my journey from Senegal and other countries, you all have been able to see and witness a little piece of this beautiful continent. You all have been able to witness this through my journey. And so, but now I feel like being 10 months in, I feel like I'm really like settling in, you know what I mean? Like like I feel like I'm more grounded. I'm more grounded in the continent. I'm more aware. And so I'm a little bit more settled, you can say. And so I feel that I have a deep joy within my heart being able to have a greater purpose in traveling, not just being on the continent of Africa, but even being a traveler. I've always loved to travel, even when I was in the States, traveling with a purpose, going to different cities, different states. And so traveling has always been part of me. Um, and so even in recent times, traveling to different countries in Central America, Caribbean, so on and so forth. And so traveling is not something that is new to me, yet I have never throughout my traveling journey like been like on this side, you know what I mean? Like I've been everywhere in the states, from like the northwest coast, Washington State, to the East Coast, to the West Coast, California, and even the South, like all over the South, really. And so growing up in the state of Florida, and so we've always liked to travel, but being here on the continent is a different experience. And so I've always, throughout my journey, I've always been an avid reader, studying, reading books, learning about the different cultures, and so on and so forth. But being able to tap into a different level of a different level of awareness and consciousness in reality is much more different than reading. It's much more different than reading a book or seeing things on TV. And of course, my mind has never been prejudiced in relation to the continent of Africa. I was never one to believe that, you know, all the hype and the hoopla that you hear like on the media and so on and so forth. And so there was never any doubt in my mind that, okay, well, it's all just little children with bugs on their faces and pot bellies and stuff like that. I mean, you see it on TV with these ministries that travel to these countries, and they just go and show you like some dirty little children, start asking for some donations, and, and a lot of people really think and believe, well, that's just what Africa is. It's just a continent where people are just needy, or like they don't have anything and they're looking for a savior, like they're looking for the next best thing to come and save them. But that is far from reality. And best believe that even in the US, I mean, there's the homeless population is a growing population in America, especially like in California, for example. And so, if we talk about poverty or homelessness, that is something that is relevant in practically every continent. And so, yet that is not the end all be all of the sum of a particular place, even though there is struggles everywhere, have their struggles, everywhere have their pitfalls and positives and negatives and so on and so forth. But I would say that it is the greatness. When I say that my life will never be the same, it is the greatness of the continent that, as I continue to soak in the energy, as I continue to um, increase in understanding and intelligence and grow emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, these are the experiences that allows my life to be transformative, and even to be able to bring on those positive experiences and transfer those energies to others within my inner circle, even others that may be living abroad, being able to harness and share with them those experiences that we can continue to grow even on a deeper level. And so, as I was sharing with you guys, like I said, my life will never be the same. Being on this beautiful continent, I mean, the growth and developments that is happening in many countries, and it's not just, for example, here in Kenya, it's really everywhere. Anybody, you can just choose a country and go, even though there are some countries that may be a little bit more war torn than others, where there might be a higher level of insecurity, like for example in parts of the Congo, um, in certain parts even in Somalia, for example. There are certain areas you can say that there's definitely a little bit more, or a higher level of insecurity due to ongoing wars. But outside of that, practically in most places, definitely you can travel and experience the depth, the rich cultures. And so yeah, I mean, when you think about it, like when I was in the Gambia, I think one of the most beautiful things about the Gambia is just the different cultures, being able to witness the dancing, the music, the the different instruments, the kora, the different drums, and the steps, like the vibration, like it's on a whole nother vibration. It's very different. You know what I mean? And then the styles of music, for example, in Senegal, the sound is just a different sound. And so music is such an amazing thing because music allows your mind to, it does something to your mind, it does something to your brain. So being able to listen and hear live those different instruments, those different musics, the different vibrations, it does something to you. In real time, you don't really see it, but then over time, you start to see certain dynamics within your aura, within your energy begin to shift. And so I would say that right now, being 10 months into the continent, some of you who may be watching may be wondering, well, is he living there permanently or is he not living there permanently? Will he be back in the States? Will he not be back in the States? So on and so forth. I would say I just leave everything up to the Most High Creator because we can only know what today brings. We don't even know what tomorrow brings. You know what I mean? So we're just allowing the divine to lead and guide us in the path that, or this journey that we're on a daily basis. And so those of you who are watching Kixkeya Global Village, consider yourself blessed being able to partake in this experience with me as we continue to grow and develop together. And so, like I said, being 10 months in, right about now, I feel like I'm in a whole different space, like in a whole different mental space, being on the continent. I never thought that I would be in Africa for 10 months, you know what I mean? But I'm in a blessed position even to be able to continue on this journey. And so we're grateful and thankful. And so not only to be able to be on this journey, but having even friends who have traveled from the States that I've been able to even meet in Africa. That's a whole different experience. Having families watching Global Village YouTube channel, being able to meet like real people, having real experiences. And so, like, I feel like I've been able to make history, like literally make history within my own records. You know how, sometimes some people play sports and they break a sport record. Like, I feel like I'm literally breaking records within my own life cycle, within my own journeys. You know what I mean? Like, needless to say, history within my family lineage and so on and so forth. So I've been able to have some real experiences here on the continent. I've been able to meet some amazing people, some real people. And though I don't go too in depth within my personal life on the internet, I feel like not everything about your life is supposed to be broadcast online. There has to be a level of sacredness or a level of sanctity that within your own personal life that is not broadcast. And so, even though many times we live in a generation where if people may see you online or they see you on the internet, they may feel entitled to know everything that is going on within your personal life. But that is not the case. No one is indebted to anyone to reveal to them everything that is happening in their own personal journeys. Yet, what I am able to share, I will gladly share with you guys. I will joyfully share with you guys. And I wish and hope that it could be a blessing to you and an inspiration. And so many times people are afraid to embark upon a new journey because they may feel afraid as to what someone else may think or expectations that others may have upon them. And so, because of those expectations, because of the fact that they have a desire to please society, they miss out on their own blessings. And so, can you imagine even someone like myself making a decision to travel to a whole different continent that, I mean, I wasn't born on this continent, okay? I don't have family here. Nearly all of the countries that I'm traveling to, it's like I'm making connections and connecting with people, building relationships, and many times it takes time to really connect with people. And so that can be, I would say, traumatizing, um, to many, being able to cultivate the strength and the trust within the divine creator to lead you, to guide you in the right direction. Cultivating the awareness to be able to be guided to make the right decisions, to be able to make and build the correct relationships. And so that can be traumatizing to some people. And sometimes, because of that, many people do not make any move because they feel like, well, okay, well, who do I know? Or where do I go? You know what I mean? And so it takes a special kind of individual, to be able to get up and say, you know what, I'm gonna travel to Japan, even to go to school, to get an education without having family in Japan. I'll go to China and go to school in China without having no connection there. You wanna learn the language, get an education, learn the culture, but yet how would you start? Who would give you orientation? How would you even be sustainable? And so these things, many of these questions sometimes become like a blockage for a lot of people, and they don't make any move because they have no answers to these questions. And in reality, many times there are no answers. You just gotta go. You just gotta actually experience it for yourself, and then you will know what the answer is. Like coming into Kenya, I didn't know people living in Nairobi. And at the time when I came into Nairobi, there was protest. You know what I mean? But then once again, that's why I feel that traveling is a calling, because when it's a calling, you go. You know what I mean? And the creator just opens the way for you and gives you discernment. And so you continue to walk with a purpose. And so that's the thing, when traveling, you just gotta have a open mind and an open spirit to learn, to grow. And I really have a question, and the question is: imagine someone that have traveled very well, traveled most of their lives or all of their lives, versus someone, for example, who has never traveled, been in one location, and just matriculated through school, but just been in one location. Who do you think would be, I don't know if I can say more intelligent, but like when it comes to like mental capacity or even relatable, you know what I mean? Who do you think would be more relatable to overall, I don't know, society? Like who you think would be more relatable? The person who's like well traveled, or the person who is not, who has not traveled but may have just have had their educations, even if they had, like, for example, the highest degree in university. You know what I mean? But they never go anywhere. They just been in one position. Like, for example, just they just been in Miami, for example, right? Okay. And so traveling within itself is like being in school. Like, it's a whole education within itself, because you able to learn in real time. You're able to be relatable, connect with people, have understanding. Like, imagine someone who just know about Africa just by watching some missionaries on TV, or they saw some commercials on TV, and then someone from any country in Africa then travel to that person's neighborhood, and then they meet this person. Hey, where are you from? I'm from that person may say, I'm from Nairobi. Oh, you from Nairobi? Where is that? That's in the continent of Africa. It's in Kenya. And the individual that has been watching all these commercials on TV about some kid, with pop belly, starts then believing that this person living in Nairobi is who they had seen on TV. You see the ignorance, right? But then the person not knowing that in Nairobi, he, the lifestyle here might even be better than some neighborhood in Miami. Like, imagine, like, being, like, literally in the backwoods of Opalaka, or if you're in Broward, like, living in, like, deep side, shallow side, Broward, in the trenches, or if you in Orlando, living on OBT, Orange Avenue, OBT, literally in the slums. You know what I mean? Or if you're living in Jacksonville, over there, Moncrief, over in Moncrief, or if you're living in Atlanta, you know what I mean? Like, listen, yeah, I've been I've been nearly in a lot of places, so I know all the hoods. Listen, I can tell you nearly all the hoods in the state of Florida, man. I've been everywhere. Florida is like my backyard. But anyway, so what I'm saying is, a lot of people living in those areas might be watching TV and think, oh, in Africa, people just be walking with no sandals, not knowing that there are some people here, they might be living even a better lifestyle, eating better food, wearing better clothing, because the textile is organically made. You know what I mean? They're not. I mean, these days they do have a lot of imports, like fake polyester and all those things. But what I'm saying is, in a lot of places, the textile is organic fabric. You know what I mean? And so, but because of what they are seen online, they believe everyone is just walking barefoot and begging for bread. You know what I mean? Omar. What's going on, Omar? Omar says the travel person will have more depth of character and more open mindedness. Definitely, I would say more depth of character because they've been able to witness different structure. Okay, and because they've been able to witness all the different structures, it allows them to be more open minded. Definitely, definitely open mindedness. You know what I mean? Like living in just one centralized setting, you think that life, there's only one centralized way to live life. Okay, there's only one centralized way to believe or to conceptualize. But when you begin to travel, you realize that there's depth and that there's not one structure, like one way to live. And so there's different lifestyles, and all of those different lifestyles will produce healthy results. You know what I mean? Someone living in Rome may think and believe the only way to live a life of sanctity, for lack of a better term, is to be a Roman Catholic because they live in Rome, that's all they know. Or someone living in Germany may think, okay, the best way is to be a Lutheran. You know what I mean? And so anything outside of Lutheranism is inconsistent to human sustainability and not knowing that there is depth, okay? And so when you begin to travel, you begin to realize the the vast and the depth of spirituality, the depth of culture, the different foods, you know what I mean? So definitely, definitely. But yeah, those of you guys coming into the live stream, don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments. But like I said before, you guys, my life will never be the same again. And I'm definitely in a blessed position to be able to have these experiences. And Kixkeya Global Village, you know, the people that I'm blessed to be able to connect with. I'm blessed to be able to be on this journey to grow and cultivate with. You know, we'll continue to grow together. And this is why I publish these videos. You know, many of you, you know, feel free to connect. You know, feel free to reach out on Instagram, on Facebook, on email, Kixkeya Global Village. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. You know, feel free to, you know, share your thoughts and experiences. And this is what this is all about. You know, I don't really make video, you know, just for the clout per se. And of course, when I first began this, you know, traveling, there's a lot of people, different people who were subscribed to my YouTube, and people was asking a lot of questions. Okay, well, since you in Africa right now, so that means you're a Pan Africanist, or does that mean you're a passport bro, or does that mean, you know, people will always want to put a label on on others. You know what I mean? And so I don't consider myself a passport bro. I don't consider myself a Pan-Africanist. I don't have any titles, okay? And so I'm just having an authentic experience. I'm having a real authentic experience and desire to connect with real people. And so, and of course, in life, there's definitely challenges. No matter where you go, so long as you are living up on this earth, you will always face challenges because that's what life is about. You see it in the jungle. When I went into the safaris here in Kenya, I went into the safaris. You know what I mean? You see the lions, you see the gazelles chasing one another, the lions and the leopards chasing the gazelles, and the gazelles have to run so they don't get eaten by the lions. You see the crocodiles and the buffaloes crossing the rivers, and then the crocodiles chasing after the buffaloes. That's life. You feel me? No matter where you go, there's no such thing as a utopia. And I think sometimes a lot of people sometimes they think they're looking for the perfect place. The perfect place is within your heart. The perfect place is within your mind. The perfect place is having, joy and contentment within yourself. You know what I mean? Once you have that, no matter where you at, you will always be in the perfect place because you are at peace within yourself. You are um you have made peace with the outcomes of life. And I think sometimes when you come to that understanding that you have made peace with the outcomes of life, you have made peace with with the consequences of your decisions, either it be the most positive and the most successful um, consequences, or even some repercussions through failures. You know what I mean? But that's life. You grow and you develop. You know what I mean? And that's what we're about. It's a global village. So that's why I don't put a title to say I'm this or I'm that. I just be authentic and try to find what aligns within my core values, and of course try to have fun. And sometimes on these videos I try not to be like appear so excited, you know what I mean? Because that's the internet, you know what I mean? But when you get to understand me from the personal standpoint, then you will see a different view within my life. I don't Me personally, I don't believe that you should just publish all of your life online. I like to get some part of myself. I like to get some part of myself special, you know what I mean? You you gotta keep some parts special. But anyway, so like I said, I know right now there's definitely a lot of movements when it comes to traveling. A lot of guys are traveling, going to Colombia, going after the Colombian baddies. You have some guys going to the Philippines, going after the females out there too. I mean, people, that's life. You know what I mean? You want to have fun, you want to live your life. You know, if that's what you believe you should be doing, then that's cool. You know what I mean? But I don't consider myself a passport bro in that capacity. Like, some people they feel bitter against women in America, so as a result, they travel abroad to find maybe the match that they're looking for in another country because they feel that women in America are not sufficient. Me, I don't believe that. I believe that as a man, you build yourself. You have your values, you have your standard, and It doesn't matter if it's a woman in America, a woman anywhere else, so long as a man you have your values, you have your standard, you will always find someone who will align with you. And it doesn't matter if that person is in America or any other country. And so for someone to say they're gonna travel to Colombia, or they're gonna travel to Dominican Republic, or they're gonna travel to the Philippines to find a woman because there's no good woman in America, I don't believe that. You know what I mean? As a man, you attract who you are. You attract what you are. You know what I mean? So if you're a man of value, if you're a man of standard, then guess what? You're going to attract that because within your spirit, that person is going to align with your value systems. And sometimes I think over times people do have a change of mind, you know what I mean? Or because you have influences and things of that nature. So, you know, I get it. Some things may just probably never meant to last. But to say that there's no good women in America, there's great women everywhere. You know what I mean? So you just gotta know. So that's why for me, I don't consider myself a passport bro, um, and so on and so forth. Because listen, when you align yourself with divine guidance, when you align yourself with, you will always bounce back. You know what I mean? You will always continue to grow and thrive because greatness is within you. You know what I mean? So whatever is meant for you will be for you, and whatever is not will not. So it's just what it is. Even if you was to come to or go to the Philippines, I mean, who is to say that this woman is not choosing you, or is only choosing you because of the fact that you may provide for her economic growth? You know what I mean? So she might just be pretending to be submissive only because she knows that, okay, you have an American passport. You know what I mean? And I've actually know some people from the Caribbean that have traveled, go and find a wife, and then bring that woman to the States. And then after like a year or 2 years, she did. You know what I mean? Like she bounced, you know, because she got what she needed. You know what I mean? So just because people are from a different country, that doesn't mean that the woman is better. But one thing for certain, two things for sure, is that as a man, you just gotta build yourself. You gotta grow and raise your standard and align yourself with divine power. Because when you align yourself with the creator, then you will have wisdom enough to know, how to relate, to the feminine energy. It doesn't matter if that be in the Americas or Asia or wherever. So that's what I'm gonna say when it comes to that, and just living with a greater purpose. And so I think that's the greater thing, just having a greater purpose in life, understanding your mission, and align with that. And sometimes even in finding our purpose, it changes, it varies. You know what I mean? The things that, for example, like the things that I was into when I was like 15, I may not even be into them now. You know, the things that I was into when I was like 20, 25, you know what I mean? Your certain things changes, like what is the word I'm looking for? Passion, your passion, the things that you're interested in, they may change. You know what I mean? So I think that's what gives life color, is the fact that you're always growing, cultivating, overcoming challenges. You know, these things makes life worthwhile. You know what I mean? So so yeah, that's why for me when I make these videos, I just wish that they become inspirational, to other brothers who may be watching, to know that, you know what, you get inspired, motivated to continue to grow and develop. So, but like I said before, 10 months living in the continent, my life will never be the same. I have seen so much just within this time frame. And even now I'm still soaking in a lot of the experience. And it's just these past couple of days I've been marinating on doing live streams because I feel like, okay, maybe now I'm a little bit more settled. I can maybe do some live streams and really pour out some of my experiences, you know what I mean? But for the past few months, unless you in my inner circle, we have conversations on the daily basis, it's different because, it's different. But outside of that, just online, I wasn't really doing live streams and sharing so much like that. But anyway, everybody, so right now it's about to be 3 a.m. here in Kenya. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off this live stream. But I definitely thank you guys, those of you who came in, Omar, and yeah, Omar came in, shared his thoughts. Definitely thank you for coming on. And anyone else may be watching later on, share your thoughts in the comments. Share your thoughts in the comments when it comes to this video. My brother, definitely salute, salute. Thank you for coming on. Listen, man, I'm gonna be doing these live streams a little bit more. Even though most people who watches my videos are on the East Coast of the US, so that's why I kind of do them at odd times. Like right now, it's like 3 a.m. 3 a.m. here in Nairobi. Um, but listen, it's great. It's great. It's always good vibes to come on and pour out my experiences. And so let's continue to grow and travel. You know what I mean? Experience life. And so I think when you're well traveled, you're more relatable. And so you have more depth, like my brother said, depth of character, open mindedness. You feel me? Like you see life different. You see life different. You don't really live like just on the straight lace, like narrow vision, but the vision opens, you know. And so maybe later on in another live stream, we can talk about some of the more financial aspects of traveling, opportunities in different countries in Africa, just the cultivation. I may probably even bring some people on the program. I've been chopping it up with some other brothers here in Kenya. So I may have some brothers come on the live. We'll see. We're trying to work some things behind the scenes. Have some real intelligent brothers come on and really just share their thoughts. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Like these days, I'm really now. I feel like I'm ready to let loose now. You feel me? Like I'm settled. I'm settled into a lot of my experiences, and so now I think I'm ready to maybe bring some more people on and open up a little bit more, and just share because people travel different. I'm gonna tell you this right now. There's different styles. Purple pill. What's going on? Salute to Purple Pill. What's happening with you, man? Listen, before I end this live stream, maybe I might take about 5 minutes. I may not even need 5 minutes, but let me just say this. When it comes to traveling, there's different styles of travel. Okay, as an individual, you got to know what fits you when you travel. Don't look at what other people are doing, because if you do, you may want to do something that someone else is doing, but it doesn't fit you as far as your personality, how you approach life, your perspectives, how you analyze things, how you strategize. It may not align with you. And so that's why you got to know your style. Like, for example, with me, when I go to a country, I don't like to just go for like a week and then just to say that, oh, I have been to Kenya, and then but I was only there for like 5 days, and then hop to another country, and then go there for another 5 days, hop to another country, go there for like 10 days. That's not my style. However, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with that if anyone do it. Once again, I'm personalizing the fact that you got to know the style of travel that fits you. You know what I mean? Like for me, I like to go somewhere at least spend 30 days and upwards. At least 30 days and upwards. Okay? To really get to soak in the energy, to really get an understanding of the depth, the value systems, and because my purpose of traveling may be different from someone else. Like when I travel for educational purposes because I want to build a strong foundation. You know what I mean? Because I'm still very youthful within my life journey. And so I want to educate myself as much as I can because you never know. In the future, I may have other minds to raise. You understand? And so you wanna develop a depth of culture. I get content, I get records. You know what I mean? I take videos and I archive um, videos. I visit schools. I mean, so many different things. Okay, and a lot of those experiences I don't get to really post online, which little by little I will. So I have a different method in traveling. And so you have to know the style of travel that fits you. And once you get to that understanding, your travel becomes less hectic because you're not trying to fit someone else's mold. Your travel also becomes more productive because you know exactly what it is that you want to get out of it. And because you know your time frames, you have an understanding as to where you should be by day 5 or by day 30th. Okay. And so it allows you to be more grounded. And so for me, um, I've been in Kenya for 90 days plus now. I had to renew my visa, because I realized, okay, now I have tapped into a different realm within the country that I really want to continue to grow and cultivate. And so I extend my time. You know what I mean? So you just got to know your style. And so that's really one of the last parts I wanted to share in this video because that's something that I had to discover for myself. Because initially, when I started traveling, and I said I wanted to come to Africa, I was only supposed to come maybe for like 3 months. and then go back to the US. The goal was okay, I was coming in January to go back in March in the spring. But here I am from January, now we're in October, and I've been to 5 countries. I've literally touched down in 5 countries, okay, within the continent. And I have really explored, I would say, 3 of those countries and really get to know them in a deeper level. Senegal, Gambia, and Kenya. And then, of course, I have been to Egypt and Morocco, but my stays in Egypt and Morocco are very short. And so that makes 5 countries. But really, I would say in depth, um, 3 countries. And so to someone, they may say, well, you only been to 3 countries. You didn't really, I mean, you haven't really been to places. Okay. I mean, for you, you may be looking to increase your number or the amount of, to say that in your life, you have been to 40 of the 54 countries in Africa. Maybe that's your goal. You understand? And so, but my goal is different. I want to go experience the culture, get to know the people, cultivate relationships, learn the language. You understand? Have an in depth connection within the country. And so, my goal is not to, at the end of my life, to say that I have been to every country in Africa. But the goal is for me to be able to have a meaningful, impactful, in depth experience, to have spiritual, mental, emotional development. And so when I go, I have a different outlook than a lot of people. And that's why my channel, if that's something that you may be, you, if my style aligns with you, then you will have a similar experience with me, and you'll be able to benefit from Kixkeya Global Village, because that's what we into. So, you know, and so in recent times, I've been able to connect with elementary schools, secondary schools, learning how to live off the grid. Recently, I went and learned how to make um, how do they call this? Um, bio something bio charcoal. So basically, how to make fuel with raw material. Okay, how to make fuel with raw material. So, for example, let's say the power grid was to go out, right? Let's say there's no power. I have learned how to utilize the natural resources around me to make fuel to sustain myself, even without electricity. You know what I mean? So here in Kenya, I have learned how to do that, by creating the right connections, talking to the right people, and being interested in a certain aspect within lifestyle. But for someone else who may be coming to Nairobi, that may not be important to them. They might just want to go hit up the clubs, okay? Hit up the clubs, smash a few smash a few women, go to the beach, eat some good food, go to the malls, and then go to Tanzania, Zanzibar, and repeat the same thing, and then go to uh, Rwanda and repeat the same thing. You know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong with that. But on my channel, you're not gonna see that. You know what I mean? And so because we have a different approach as to what we publish, and so I'm into the nature stuff, survival stuff, finance, investments, you know, different things like that. So yeah, but so guys, listen, this was definitely a great live. Listen, I feel like I'm getting back in the groove, man. I'm getting back in the groove of live stream. Last night, that was like my first live stream in like a month or 2 months. That was like my first live stream in like 2 months. I was kind of rusty. I only came on for like 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, man, I'm going to sleep. It's too late. But I feel like I'm really in the groove. So this week, I'm probably gonna be on a roll when it comes to the live streams. So I try not to make any promises, but I think we're gonna be on live at least maybe one more time this week. We may come on live again. So, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. Are there any questions? Okay, Purple Pill says, "What's the real estate opportunities out there in Kenya?" Um, okay, so from my observation, when it comes to that, I would say there is definitely a lot of opportunities. Um, but if you have been to different countries, I would say that when it comes to like, I don't know, if you're talking real estate in terms of land ownership, um, it's different. They have different policies. I think the policies here may be a little bit more restricting than some other countries when it comes to land rights, ownership, and so on and so forth. So I guess it depends on what you're looking for, but I think there's opportunities, you know. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. So yeah. Um, any other questions? If not, then we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. All right. So man, I feel good tonight, man. I feel good. Man, I'm happy to be able to do this live. So great stuff, great stuff. So we're gonna wrap it up. Once again, if there's any further questions, you can always send me a message on IG, Facebook. So yeah, so I know elections is coming up in the States, so it's always crazy around this time. But I hope you guys back in the States are doing great, 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 great. Be great, do great. All right, y'all. Listen, thank you guys for watching Kixkeya Global Village. Once again, peace out.